The Chiefs make a smart move to bolster up their defense, and we're going to have a little Q&A. Stick around.
You're listening to All Chiefed Up.
How we doing, Chiefs Kingdom, ACU crew? Hope you guys are doing pretty damn good tonight. April the 3rd. It's Thursday night, Michael. We're doing a live night for the public on Thursday nights from now on. Still get a members-only live stream on Tuesdays during the day. Thursdays is going to be the night stream, and we're going to take Saturdays off for the off-season. How about that? Your boys are going to take a bit of a break on Saturday nights. So we'll get those back going when the games start rolling back around. But, Mike, how you doing tonight, my man?
Yeah, not great. We've had tons of storms. If I lose power, the power could go out at any minute. Sorry. If you lose me, you lose me. I don't know.
You'll be all right. Yeah, I'll keep it going.
We just found out today that the Ohio River plans on flooding, and so I must move out of my house now for a week and pack up everything in here.
Precautionary, right? Just in case.
Because we're going to flood. There's going to be river with like
river
body
in
parts
your living
probably.
room.
Yeah, in my house. So I
Trash.
have to displace myself into an Airbnb for a week.
Hey, it's okay. You had an extra $1,000 laying around to spend, right?
I do not.
Didn't you want to get an Airbnb for the week?
Yeah, so great. I always wanted to take a trip to like Shepherdsville, Kentucky. That sounds very intriguing.
Sounds amazing. Sounds like a great week.
Yeah. Well, so if our release content gets thrown off in any way, well, there you go. I'm flooded. So
life's always throwing a bunch of shit at everybody. You know it.
Yeah, it likes to nail me.
It's okay. But you know what? We're going to talk about the Chiefs a little bit, and whatever shit life's throwing your way, you can forget about it for about 45 minutes to an hour. We're going to talk about some Chiefs football. Mike, they made a signing today. They're going to bolster up that defense a little bit. I really liked it. We know the man. His name's Mike Edwards, the safety, signing with Kansas City on a one-year deal. NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero reported Thursday per a source. Edwards, who's only 28, returns to the Chiefs, whom he won Super Bowl 58 with after a season split with the Bills and the Bucks. Since being drafted by Tampa Bay in the third round of 2019, Edwards has started 30 of 83 regular season games played, totaling 247 tackles, 8 interceptions, 4 touchdowns, and 3 Big Mac sacks, baby. Let's go. I like this signing, Mike. I think it's smart. We lost Justin Reed. We couldn't afford him. We had a lot of young guys back there in that safety room. I think this brings in a veteran presence. It's also someone comfortable with the system. And this guy always got high praise from Mahomes. Talked about how in practice he reminded him of the Honey Badger. So I'm pretty cool with this. I kind of like it.
Yeah, we've known Mike Edwards since he played at UK. We liked it the first time. I think for all the reasons you said, I like the move. It brings in a veteran guy, a guy that's won a Super Bowl, a guy that's played on several good defenses. I think it only helps with the development of Jaden Hicks. A lot of people still aren't sold on where Brian Cook is in his development process. A lot of people don't like the way he plays. They think he misses too many tackles. He's a little too slow. We've seen him drop interceptions in his hands.
So Brian Cooks has had his struggles, but I think people need to give him a little bit of grace. He went through that injury, and that was a pretty tough one, the ankle. So remember, it was a wet field, I think, against Green Bay, and it was nasty. It was a nasty injury. So I'll give him a little bit of grace. We'll see what he does this year. I think this will be a big year for Brian Cook to show what he's got.
I still like the signing, though. I like the Mike Edwards signing. I think that helps a little bit because you still got Christopher Roland Wallace, who can play safety. Chamari Connor, people wanted that too, but Connor is always going to continue to play some of that slot row, I believe. And so I don't think he's just going to be a safety.
Right. I like him a little better at safety than I like him in that nickel, though. I have to say.
Connor?
Yes.
Well, yeah, he's not as fast. Connor had a pretty down year last year when it come to actual coverage stuff. I'm not for sure what his PFF grade was, but you could tell throughout the season he was getting abused a few times.
Yeah.
So, I just like the Mike Edwards signing. I think it's fine. We were probably going to have to rely on just Deion Bush alone as being the only veteran back there besides Brian Cook, obviously. So I like the Mike Edwards signing. I think it was fine. I'm sure the contract's cheap. I haven't looked to see how much they signed him for. I'm sure it's for pennies.
Right.
It's not going to be crazy. It shouldn't mess with our cap. And it still wouldn't surprise me if we didn't draft a young DB, be it corner or safety in the draft, or both.
Yeah.
Or look to the UDFA thing, because I think we're just going to get younger across the board, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. And really like the signing. Obviously, I think it's smart. I think it's comfortable. It makes a lot of sense. He did play, like I mentioned earlier, he split a season between Buffalo and Tampa Bay. His overall grade for the year, according to PFF, Mike, was a 72, which put him at 37 of all safeties in the NFL. Not bad for a season split between two organizations because obviously it takes a little while to get your footing during a season. And then he had to uproot and redo it again halfway through. His pass rush grade isn't the greatest. It was a 51.5, but he's our safety. You don't need him always rushing a passer, obviously. His run defense grade, 83.5, which is pretty damn good, way above average. And then his coverage grade was actually a little above average at 66.3. So, Mike, I think we got a pretty good football player here. And like I mentioned earlier, Patrick Mahomes was always talking good things about him in practice, remind him of the Honey Badger. He said he's a guy that's always around the ball and always in the position to make a play. That's just somebody good to have on your defense, my man.
Yeah, I agree. We got a 10 bomb from Buck and Bob. Take on Chiefs
go.
Keeper podcast. Steve, we had fun on Buck and Bob. If you haven't watched that one, go over to Buck and Bob. Subscribe to those guys. They're awesome dudes. They know the Chiefs. They talk about the Chiefs. They're very, what do I say? Like, they're very, they don't want to offend nobody, so they're like, our takes aren't very good, but they've got good
They're
takes. Steve.
genuine good guys,
Yeah, they
and
got good
it doesn't
takes.
matter. You're
Don't
allowed
be
to
so
have an
modest.
opinion. It doesn't
Don't
even
be
matter.
so modest, Buck and Bob, okay?
Yeah,
You
even
go
if it's
out
a
there and
hot take.
Look, you pop a blue chew, you go out there and give it to them. And that's what you do. He says, have a coffee on me, guys. Thank you for the content. Thank you so much.
Let's go.
I'm probably not going to do a coffee, but I'm going to snag that $10 and buy an Airbnb.
Mike,
Steve,
you're going
you
to put
get
it towards
nothing
your
tonight.
flood fund.
This is going towards my flood fund. This sucks. I had to do this
That does
already. Do you remember? It was only like 7 years ago I had to do this.
Yeah, it wasn't long ago. You stayed with me last time. Mike, I gave you the offer. I just don't know if you want to sit down here and get harassed by kids all night. I don't,
No,
you know?
you've got 5 kids and they're on spring break. And so, I mean, I would have thought about it, but nah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not going to be fun. But I appreciate you guys. We got Iron Price in here with 5 gifteds too, Steve. How do you
Let's
like
go,
that?
baby. Appreciate you, Iron Price. Good to see you, by the way. I think it's been a little bit, maybe. Or maybe I just haven't been paying enough attention to the chat, but good to see you, my man. If you get one of those memberships from Iron Price, make sure to thank him in the chat. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much.
I heard the train, baby. Heard the train.
Yeah, man. It's just it's a good night to talk about the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We're in a good position, and he keeps putting us in better position to go into this draft and to completely just draft best player available. Like he's hitting all the little holes, right? Because that was one of the positions I think where you were like, maybe we could use some veteran help. Maybe we could. Well, we got it. We got it on the cheap, and we got one that knows the system. So even better. Like, I'm not always a fan of them going out and re-signing guys that's played here before. Like we talked Juan Thornhill earlier during free agency because he was available, and it was like, well, maybe it could be like that. I actually like this one better than Juan Thornhill. I think Mike Edwards is the way to go here.
Yeah, I think I like Thornhill. Or I like Edwards a little bit better than Thornhill as well. I think Brett Veach, like you said, he's kind of went out on every. So, for example, we lacked a little bit of veteran leadership on offensive line, and he didn't really go out and get somebody that was a true veteran, but he got somebody that's been in the league for a few years, played behind a good left tackle there for a few years, and he got him on the cheap at left tackle. So he kind of addressed that a little bit to where you don't necessarily have to take that left tackle in the first round if there's not one you like. And so now he's got the safety. He did that with a corner with Christian Fulton. I thought that was a good play. And so he got Nick Bolton back. So now linebacker's not necessarily like a huge need. And then defensive line, he's brought in Tillery. I still think they could do some stuff with the defensive line there, but he got Mike Pennell back as well. So you got more of a guy that can get after
And
it.
O'Menahue.
Right. So Brent Veach has done a pretty good job down the board, like you said, and he got the running back. He got Elijah Mitchell. He got a veteran there. He brought back Kareem Hunt, got a veteran. So I still think they can go young in some of these positions. But they did a really good Brent Veach has done a pretty good job this offseason with what we've had because this wasn't a great free agency class.
Yeah. No, it was a pretty weak one, actually.
Yeah.
I really thought it was. A lot of the bigger names in this free agency class were like guys hitting the back ends of their career. You know, like Keenan Allen, Stephon Diggs, like a lot of names like that. There was nothing crazy out there. And I think I even, like we talked about this on the Buck and Bob podcast the other day, Mike, but I thought that one of my favorite moves was the Jalen Moore signing because I thought it was just low key, pretty smart, and it's a good risk to take, right? You found a guy that's played in behind Trent Williams, who's the best tackle in football, according to a lot of people. Played in behind him. When he stepped in, the tape looked good. He didn't miss a beat over there. We got this guy fairly cheap. I mean, 2 years, $30 million. That's not terrible. And you might hit a home run. If he steps in and he's able to take over that position, he could be Patrick Mahomes' left tackle for the foreseeable future, and we can have it locked up. And then, hey, you were in a really bad position, and you just got yourself out of it by scratching off a good lottery ticket.
Yeah, I agree. Dama with a 10 bomb.
Let's go,
says,
baby.
Shout out the best Chiefs.
Pod.
He said old. I don't know if that's a
pod. He said.
Okay, pod. Gotcha.
Yeah. Let's go, Damo.
Best Chiefs
Appreciate
pod.
you,
Appreciate
my
it.
man.
I was gonna say I thought he was like, hey man, now that Mike Edwards is here, all the best Chiefs are old, just old guys.
Maybe
I
he's
was like,
calling
you know,
us old. You know,
yeah, maybe he's calling us old, like we're old.
that's a possibility.
Yeah, maybe he's like, look, old, it's good.
Appreciate you, Damo. Guys, do us a favor. Hit the like button if you haven't already. It just takes a second. Go do that. If you're watching on X or Facebook, you can like it on there. You can send it out to your friends, family, followers, whatever you want to do. Just share that. We'd appreciate you. Also, Mike, what was it? I wanted to talk about one more thing, and I can't think of it because I'm old. We were just talking about that.
You're
But you know
old.
what? We'll skip it. It's okay. If I think about it, we'll bring it back up. But there's not a whole lot much more to be said about Mike Edwards and the signing. You guys let us know in the chat how you feel about it, if you guys like it, if you think it was smart. And we're going to kind of let you guys drive this bad boy for the rest of the night. Let's do a little Q&A. Y'all throw your questions in the chat, and we'll get to them as good as we can. And let's do that. We'll let you guys run this bad boy.
Yeah, Julia in the house. She says, is there anybody realistically worth trading up for, and what would you give up to move to grab them? Steve, is there anybody that you would consider trading up for? I mean, there are players, but I think that's hard to predict who would fall. So, okay, so let's say Genty goes top 10. Let's just say he goes top 10 like he's supposed to, but Omarion Hampton falls. Would you trade up for Omarion Hampton, or would you rather sit where you are and draft Judkins, or would you rather wait till the second or third round and grab somebody else? What would be your take on that one if you were Brett Veach?
I don't know, man. I really don't. Were you asking about running back in particular?
Yeah, like so if running back's your position and Omarion Hampton falls say 23, 24.
That's a good example because that's actually something I was going to bring up anyway.
Right.
Like,
So would you go there? Would you sit and take the running back, or would you just take one in the second or third round?
so that's the thing. I don't think there's any players that just stick out to be like, we have to trade up and get this guy. Like that isn't a thing. But I think if some really good value falls down the board, that you go up and you get them, kind of like you did Trent McDuffie, right?
I don't think did it last year with Xavier Worthy too. Nobody thought they were going to come up and take Xavier Worthy.
Right, but like I like to go back to the Trent McDuffie thing because I don't think that they had in mind that they had to trade up and get Trent McDuffie. I don't think that was a thing.
No,
but
I just don't think they expected him to fall like that.
Exactly. You see that much talent on the board and it's still there. It's like, hey, let's get
Look
up here
at
and do
all
it.
those GMs that screwed that up.
And Buffalo wanted him, man. That makes it even better. We traded right up in front of them and took him. And they ended up with Kyrie Elam, who ends up getting traded to the Cowboys for a 7th-round pick. How about it, baby? But anyway, Buffalo loves screwing up the draft and helping the Chiefs out.
If Kyrie Elam was worth a 7th-round pick, what does all the Sky Moore people think that they're going to get for Sky Moore?
Phew.
Because Kyrie Elam, for a
A
first-round
box of
pick,
Fruity Pebbles.
was not as bad as Sky Moore being a late second-round pick.
Box of Fruity Pebbles, Mike. Maybe
You're not
happy.
even getting that. Cereal's outrageous these days.
Yeah, they've lowered the price a little bit, so maybe we could get one for Sky Moore, you know?
You get the off-brand Fruity Pebbles.
But no, I do think if like a Marion Hampton is there, say a couple picks ahead of us, maybe they think about it if they think someone else is going to pull the trigger on that. Same with the Luther Burden or someone of that nature. I've seen a lot of drafts that have Emeka Egbuka falling into the second round all of a sudden. Absolute insanity. This is the third best receiver in this freaking class.
Yeah, that's a kid. Like Luther Burden, give or take, I like him in our offense. But Emeka Egbuka is a guy that is a little different, and he's a little bit of a route technician and somebody, to me, that could be just a reliable chain mover now that Kelsey's getting a little older in his days.
Well, my thing
I like
is,
Emeka Egbuka. So if Egbuka's on the board or Luther Burden, who would you take?
That's a very, very tough one in my opinion, because Mike, ours collectively when we did the top 10, we put Egbuka at 3. I originally had Luther Burden at 3. But me and you kind of, we collabed on that, and we put, I think, Burden at 5 or 6. We had Egbuka at 3. That's a tough one for me, dude. I like both of those guys because I was fighting over who to put at 3 and 4 out of those two. And here's the thing. I think if you want the safe play, you take a Mecca Egbuka. I think if you want the safe play, you take Egbuka. I think if you want a higher ceiling and somebody that might just come in and light the world on fire, you take a Luther Burden.
I think you take Luther Burden if you're Brett Veach because that's just your kind of receiver you draft.
Yeah, I mean, Egbuka can play that role as well. But
but he's not the fast.
No, but I think there's a higher ceiling for Luther Burden, but there's a much lower floor as well. So, it's kind of pick your poison with that one.
Yeah, that's a decent question, Julie. But yeah, I don't know. For me, there's not anybody I would trade up to take. But, you never say never, because if there is that one person, if they're just in love, for example, if they're in love with somebody like a Walter Nolan, let's just throw that name out. If they're in love with that guy and he's at 28, 29, yeah, they can move up to take him. They really could. They could be like, look, we're within striking distance. Let's go get him. But I can't say that I would make any move like that until I've seen it, in my opinion. So, but yeah, I don't think I would move up to take a running back, Steve. There ain't no way I don't think I move up to take a running back.
The only way
Even
I
if
do,
it is a Marion Hampton. I don't think a Marion Hampton's that far separated from maybe Judkins that you couldn't wait second round.
I think it's Ashton Genty and Marion Hampton, pretty big gap than Judkins.
You think it's that big of a gap, though?
I think it's a pretty good gap. I do.
I think it's first round talent to second round talent.
Sure. I mean, it's a pretty good gap, though, man. Like, I think that if this was any other year, if Ashton Genty wasn't there, Marion Hampton would be hyped up even more. And I think that he would be considered a first round draft pick. And now you got him falling to the end of the first round, maybe out of the first round. I think any other year, man, he'd be the one they were trying to grab early if someone needed a running back.
Do you think, though, it's only because people aren't valuing the running back position? If
that
it was
too,
10 years
man.
ago, he probably
That
goes top 15 no matter what.
Exactly. That's a lot of it. I mean, we've talked about that the last couple of years covering the drafts. Like, hey, running backs just aren't a premium anymore. But I am seeing a lot of people in our comments lately, and even people in the chats tonight, talking about how they need to get a game-changing running back. Here he is, Mark Hernandez, talking about it. And a lot of people have that opinion. And I'm trying to think of who it was. It might have been Buck and Bob when we were on that episode. One of them might have said that Andy Reid does use running backs when he has that game-breaking, game-changing running back. When he had LaShawn McCoy in his prime, when he had Westbrook, when he had Kareem Hunt in his rookie season and sophomore season when he was going crazy, he will use them if they are like that type of running back. We haven't had anyone to that level in so long. It's kind of hard to go by. So, I mean, maybe if you do get a game changer in here at running back, maybe we start seeing them utilize our freaking running game a little bit more. And that would be fantastic.
Do you know who down the board? I was looking today and I was watching some more film on running backs, which is really stupid because I need to be focusing on defense. But I just had some spare time, looked at some running backs. And it's a guy that I'm not still super, super keen on. Like, I had him rated lower than you did. To your credit, you had him a little higher than I did initially. And I still don't know what it's going to be. I still need to see him run. But Dylan Sampson at Tennessee at 5'8", 200, he is almost the size of some of those running backs that Andy Reid liked to use a lot.
Fast as hell, too, dude.
Yeah, he's got that shiftiness to him. But he's almost the same size as, not Westbrook, but who was the other guy that they had there for a little while? LaShawn McCoy, I think. He was like 5'8", 200. He was right around that mark. He was right near 200, 210. So 208, in my opinion, that is little for a running back, right, to be a bell cow. But you do see LaShawn McCoy in them because Andy Reid's offense, in a way, isn't just one of those downhill fullback kind of just shoot it up into the A-gap over and over and over again. It's just not.
Right.
But we have been talking to Damian Martinez. They looked at Ollie Gordon II. Those guys are huge. They're 220 plus, and those guys can pound it.
Right.
So I don't know what they're trying to do, to be honest. Like, are they trying to throw us off? They've looked at Judkins, too. Judkins ain't a little guy. He's 6'2", 221. He's huge. So I'm not for sure what they're trying to go for. It feels like they're trying to get back to the Kareem Hunt style that was closer to that 215 to 220.
Right, but, I don't
maybe
think
they're
it
easing
matters.
up off the...
I don't think, like, the size and stuff, I don't think they have to have the prototypical whatever they normally have. I don't think it's about that. So I think whether you have like a bigger bruiser type back or you have like a guy like Samson that's like a one cut and just run 100 miles an hour, either way, I think they need someone that can change the game. Someone that is that good and isn't just someone that to feed the ball to over and over again and they're getting you 2 yards, 3 yards. We need somebody with some home run power, Bo. And that's what I think they're looking for.
Yeah.
And that could come in a lot of different forms, man. That could be your little running back like a Samson. It could also be a big guy like Caleb Johnson from Iowa. I think that these there's some really good running backs, intriguing ones in this draft.
Does it feel like maybe Elijah Mitchell is kind of got that home run trait about him, that maybe that's what they were looking for there? They need to get back to somebody that can do what McKinnon did.
He does.
A better blocker, a better catcher out of the backfield, somebody that they can feature more. We lost that feature back that McKinnon offered.
It's kind of easy to forget, too. Andy Reid had Jamal Charles for a little bit, and he used him. I mean, like, Andy will use a running back. I think they have to be for it to be one that he's going to rely on a lot, I think it's got to be a game-changing type running back. So I think that was a good point. Yeah,
I see in the chat a lot of people said they'd trade up for Travis Hunter.
Oh, would love to, sure.
Yeah, but we're not going to the top.
Well, here's another
3.
thing with Travis Hunter, and here's my deal with Travis Hunter. You're not playing both ways in the NFL.
I don't think you can either. You
You're
can do it
not
very
doing
selectively, but you cannot be playing.
If you do, it's career suicide. It's not going to last. It's not smart. He needs to pick one and stick with it. He's good at both. The guy's an amazing athlete. But if you're smart, you go wide receiver. You get paid more money. I mean, the guy's insane. But yeah, I mean, athletic as hell, dude. Like, he could be like a generational type talent if he was focused on one position. I really think that.
Right. Well, that guy goes with Peter. He asked if you were the GM, who'd you take first? I'm guessing he means like the Titans. Who'd you take overall first pick?
The Titans are in a weird place, right? Because do you really want to give up on Will Levis just yet? He's still young. He's only been in the league 2 years.
He is, but
now,
we said when they drafted Will Levis, Steve, that he was not the guy that everybody thought he was.
He's not, but he is decent, and he's got some good traits. But he kind of has that thing about him where when he's bad, he's real bad, like Mahomes, and he can just make some really dumb plays. Exactly. But he does have like the upside of like maybe a step below, but like a Josh Allen type, like a bigger guy that can be mobile and can throw the ball a mile.
Right. So do you take Cam Ward? Do you take Travis Hunter? Do you take Abdul Carter? That's probably the top 3 they're choosing from right there.
I don't know if Abdul Carter, gets the balls tingling enough to take number 1.
That's what I said.
I don't. I've been watching a lot of his tape, man, because we're trying to get started on the defense soon.
Yeah. I'm not
I
super
like him.
sold on
He's
him.
good, but I don't know about him being number 1 overall, man. I don't know.
I feel like a lot of these guys are those little tiny stand-up pass rushers that are borderline linebackers. And it's just, they hit with like Micah Parsons doing that, but Micah Parsons got such a thicker frame coming off the edge than these guys.
Micah Parsons is a different type of beast, right? He's kind of got that Von Miller in him where he can do a lot of different things. Yeah, you don't get those every year. That's not a thing. I don't know about it, man. I think overall, if I was the Titans, I might look at a game changer, like a good. I don't know. I might take Travis Hunter and see if I can use him as an offensive weapon. Be like, hey, let's forget about the corner.
I think
stuff.
I take Travis Hunter, Steve, and I look to get back in the first round and maybe draft Shadur Sanders if he falls late.
That would be a good little combo.
You could have your quarterback.
And if Shadur Sanders isn't that great, you still got Will Levis.
You can have your combo, and you might be able to lure Dion if you need a new coach in a couple of years.
Yeah.
I said the Browns could do that as well. I feel like that's a combo that somebody might look into. These kids have been playing football together since they were 14. Like, if you could grab somebody with that familiarity, that's a little bit of a leg up coming into the NFL, in my opinion.
Yeah, true.
You could have like a Mahomes-Kelsey vibe from day one with those two guys.
Yeah. You really could.
I mean, not on the extreme level of what.
No,
they've been
but I
able to
mean, just that
accomplish,
they've
but-
been playing football together at every level since they were 14 years old. That's not something to scoff at. I really don't think so. I mean, there's definitely something to it. Mike, our boys Buck and Bob with the 5 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby. If you get one of those memberships, make sure to thank those guys in the chat. I think that's probably Bob, if I had to guess. Or I don't know. They'll have to tell me. They'll have to tell me in the chat. I know it's one of you. But appreciate y'all.
Maybe it's both. Maybe they're both just sitting there, just
Side by side.
clicking buttons together.
I think it's Bob, if I had to guess. I think he's the one that said that he's on here a lot. Yeah, there we go. It's Bob. All right. Let's
Good
do
deal.
it. Let's do it. Yeah, if you get one of those memberships, make sure to thank.
I seen in
Helen
the
and
chat
Phil.
where one of them said that they ran into Joe Blameyer at a
Man,
dog
did you-
park today.
Hey, did you tell him? What
Did you tell him to stop being such a puss, man, and
Why are
go
you
out there
being
and game
scared of
plan?
that? Tell him that you wouldn't be scared to game plan for Mahomes. You could let him know how this is going to go.
Steve, that's like if somebody gives you the opportunity to drive a Lamborghini, and what do? You choose to take it down
In a school zone.
Yeah, you take it in a school zone with speed bumps.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
that's not going to work. That's
Quit.
not going to work. Can't be scared. Can't be scared with the Lamborghini in your garage. Man, it's just wild to me that he said that. I don't even want to get into it anymore. I want to talk about the draft some more. Anybody got any good questions? Y'all throw some questions out there.
Steve Ledbetter's asked, what do we think about the DT from Toledo? I watched him at
Is that Darius Alexander?
Yeah, I watched him at the Reese's Senior Bowl. I'll spit it out in a second. I thought he moved okay. On film, I didn't think he was overly athletic to me. Like, he did make a lot of big plays, but again, it was Toledo, right? And then he ended up running, let me see what his exact numbers were. I don't get them wrong. 4.95 with a at the combine. He ran a 4.95 with a 1.72 10-yard split. So not too bad. He's right in the middle of the pack there. I would have thought the 4.95 was super fast, but he actually got beat there by probably like 7 or 8 guys. But he is over 300 pounds, whereas the guys that did beat him were a little bit smaller.
Well, I mean, overall, Mike, in all the defensive tackles, he ranked 7th in athleticism, so he's a good athlete.
Yeah, he's a decent athlete. He's had 2 good years back to back, so we look for that. He had 7 sacks in 2023, and he had 4 this year, I think, 2024. He's had probably like 50 hurries in that amount of time. And I know he scores pretty well versus the run, too. He's kind of intriguing. I don't know if I'd be sold on him taking him in the first for me. But also, I've not dug into a ton of his film just yet. So I may see something I love. For me, I think I stopped the first round. I probably stopped the first round DT. I mean, Walter Nolan's right there for me. Mason Graham's going to go in the first round. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't super excited about Shamar Turner when I watched him. And so Darius Alexander's probably right in that region somewhere. So
I think so. I watched some of his tape.
He may get in. Yeah, he may get in. I don't know if I would take him, but he may get in.
I watched some of his tape. From what I could tell, he's just got good size. He got NFL size, length, and all that. And it looks like he could be like a 3-down type guy. He definitely has that skill set. Kind of bendy and pretty strong. I think, like, the one thing I noticed in his tape, Mike, if I had like a drawback on him right now, and I didn't watch a whole lot of tape, guys, so don't yell at me if I'm just seeing like a short sample size. But it looked like to me, if he wasn't, his pad level's a little high, he kind of get displaced.
Yes,
lot.
he pops
then,
up out of his. He pops up off the line really quick, in my opinion. Like,
and sometimes he gets
also
lost in
feels
the
slow
sauce a little bit.
Did you feel that he was slow sometimes? Like, he kind of had that vibe of the kid you like, Javon Dexter, but he was kind of like the slowest one off the snap a few plays.
Not necessarily slow, but I feel like short area quickness is lacking. So yeah, a little sluggish. But my thing is he kind of gets lost in the sauce sometimes. Like, I don't know if he's too busy worried about the blocker, not looking for the runner, or, different things. Like, I feel like he kind of disappear on you sometimes. But I'm going to watch more of his tape. We'll see.
But yeah, from what I've seen though, like he held his own. People didn't really push him around a lot, in my opinion. And then he had a couple good moves up the middle, and he was strong. He was a super strong kid. The one downfall that I wrote, I want to make sure I get it exactly right. I don't want to give you any bad information. The one thing that I put on him that I did not like was that he will be 25 years old going into the season already.
Yeah.
So he's halfway to 30 before you're even drafted. So that may or may not be a big deal if you're only going to have him for 4 years. Maybe you give him the 5th year. So maybe you hold him till he's 30 on a rookie contract and you let him go. Maybe that's a possibility. I don't know. But that was the immediate drawback that I seen. And then, like, I just felt like he come out of his stance a little late a lot. But I mean, that can be fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
But I did
mean,
like him. I mean, he's right there at the top of the second for me, probably.
good size, good skill set. I think that's definitely something to think about. Mike, Mary wants to know if you've seen any of Johnny Walker, the edge from Missouri. He might be a sneaky good pick in the 7th if he falls that far. I know Johnny Walker, they snubbed him. They didn't even have him at the combine, which is wild.
Yeah.
I thought he deserved to be there, but they kind of snubbed him on that. I've seen a little bit of Johnny Walker's tape. I saw Mizzou play a few games this year, just passively. And I think he's a pretty exciting player. I think if you could get a guy like that in the 7th round, that's definitely something to look at.
I don't know where he's going to end up going because you think 7th round, but he has been turning some heads a little bit. He's a little undersized. He's 6'3", 255. I don't know what he actually came in on the combine, though, because he was not invited to the combine, I don't think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that, but I don't remember seeing him at the combine.
Who?
Johnny Walker.
Yeah, they snubbed him. He didn't even get to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say he's not
That's
on
what I
my
was just talking
combine
about.
notes. Okay, gotcha. So, yeah, what I have down for him is 6'3", 255. He's a little small, but he's more like the Mike Dana type. And so I think that's exactly – it's not like a great comp for him, but if you want to see like how he could probably impact a game, it could be something like a Mike Dana. I think he had like 10 sacks for Missouri last year. So he has a decent amount of hurries. But, yeah, he's kind of like you said, Steve, he's kind of overlooked. He doesn't have a lot of inside-outside versatility. Like Mike Dana's probably got more inside-outside versatility, to be honest. But I want to say I seen him play. Who was it I watched? Because I was watching some Luther Burden film, and I took the opportunity to go ahead and just on the defensive side of the ball, I was watching one of their defenders, and it wasn't Johnny Walker. I don't remember who it was I was watching. But anyway, I want to say it might have been Auburn or Alabama won, and he didn't look all that great. But again, Auburn and Alabama, that's two pretty good teams, so I got to dig in more to him, but I'm not opposed to looking into a guy like that. But Steve, we've got a lot of these guys, in my opinion, that are like the non-game changers, but the really solid role-playing type. Like, isn't it time we invest and get us a big – because it looks like Felix is still firmly on the fence.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think Karlaftis is going to get to that like elite top 10 defensive end in the league. I don't think he's there. He's a serviceable top 25, top 20. But I want to get with Chris Jones, I want like a young, just a smoking defensive end off the edge, man, that can just team up and pair him with Karlaftis and Chris Jones and just let them eat, dude. Like, I want somebody that can do it. And I thought we were going to get that with Felix, and Felix is just he's kind of developed a little slow.
I think it's one of those things, though. It's just part of, drafting 31, 32 every year.
Yeah.
It's hard to get that top elite edge rusher because it's a premium position. But, yeah, just to answer the question and wrap that up, Johnny Walker, though, like he did have his best year in 2024. It was an 80.1 overall grade from PFF, Mike, a 15.4% pass rush win rate, which is pretty damn good. He had a great pass rush grade at 77.9, run defense 75.6, 79.9 as a true pass set rush grade. I think he did really well. He did kind of disappear sometimes in the bigger games against stiffer competition, but that's to be expected in the SEC. You're going up a whole different caliber of offensive linemen. But he did eat against Arkansas, Mike, and that's some of the tape I watched. He had his best game at an 89.3 ranking on PFF. And that'd probably be a good one to watch if you want to see like the highlights of him. But maybe if you could dig into some Alabama tape or something like that, and maybe see what his weaknesses are, that might be something to look at too.
Yeah, again, his numbers got better this year. So he did get a little better this year. And they wasn't like horrible last year.
Right. Mike Hannah with the 5 bomb. She says, I'll start a GoFundMe to relocate you to a beach during the weather issue as long as you take the scream mask behind you.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole, like, it's attached. It's an entire little man. But I could probably take off the mask from him.
Is that like a real dude just back there wearing that mask all the time?
Yeah, it's like a little 3-foot
You have
tall
a little man back there?
If I could touch him. It's like a little guy I hire that's standing here all the time.
I don't know if that's
I would
allowed.
love to relocate to the beach. In the year of modern technology, Steve, I can
Should be able to teleport to the beach.
be at the beach and I can do whatever I want to do. I could go live from the beach if I wanted. Could you imagine?
You could.
Good lighting.
It'd be all right. Let's do it, baby. We got a 50 bomb from Peter Ortiz, baby. Let's go. Peter's a freaking legend, guys.
Let's go.
Y'all show him some love in the chat. He says, how about a running back like Earl Campbell? Would that work for KC?
Dude, I'd love that.
Man.
Would Andy use Earl Campbell? That's the debate.
Do you think Earl Campbell would have got sufficient playing time on an Andy Reid offense?
I mean, it would be hard to take Earl Campbell off the field. I mean, I wouldn't want to tell him to get off the field.
Man, I don't know. I think if you want like a bigger bruiser, like just a guy that can wear on a team and eat on them, it's going to be Caleb Johnson, in my opinion.
Yeah,
kid
I
from
like
Iowa.
him. I like Caleb Johnson, Steve, but I swear I think Ollie Gordon's got a little bit of that in him too at 6'1", 226. Caleb Johnson's 6'1", 224. So he's actually 2 pounds heavier than Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, Caleb Johnson is the only one that gives me like Derrick Henry vibes. Like I feel like he's good enough to break open the big plays and be that home run threat, but at the same time, he also gets better as the game goes on. Like you can just keep giving him the ball and he's going to keep punishing the defense. So, I mean, if you want the Earl Campbell type, I think it's going to be one of those guys. Now, I mean, Chiefs talked to Damian Martinez. I think he's a bit of a bruiser, too. I don't know if I'd hold him up to Earl Campbell standard, but yeah, there's some intriguing ones,
I'm
man.
not comping anybody to Earl Campbell.
No, hell no.
Like you've got to come out and prove
That's
it. Like
not
I'm not
fair.
going to comp you that. I'm not
Would you,
comping it
hey,
to you.
knowing what Derrick Henry's been able to do in his career, would you have gave him an Earl Campbell comp?
If I could look to the future, I would say, yeah, he's a shade of Earl Campbell.
Yeah, maybe.
Wonder what Earl Campbell's 40 time would have been. Do you know? Is that something you could find? Let me see
I
if
can
I can
look
find
here. I'll
that.
look it up. I got you. I got
See if
you.
you can find Earl Campbell's 40. I don't even know if they'd done a combine or anything back then.
Earl Campbell, 40 time. Let's see if we can find that bad boy. Earl Campbell, known for his powerful running style, reportedly had a 40-yard dash of 4.6.
I mean, that's pretty good for Earl Campbell. And Caleb Johnson runs a 4.57.
Earl
Ollie
Campbell was a
Gordon,
little bit heavier than those guys, and maybe a little shorter, too. He's 5'11", 244.
yeah, he was 20 pounds. He had 20 pounds on Caleb Johnson. He has 18 pounds on Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon runs the exact same 40-yard
See,
dash.
this is crap, too, though. There's also a report where somebody tried to say he ran a 4.12 40-yard dash.
No way. 4-1.
No. Bo Jackson might
He's
be the
faster
only
than
one.
Tyreek Hill.
No, that's not true. There's no way Earl Campbell ran a 4.1.
Hey, that was the time frame of the urban legend, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
It's when nobody had good technology and you could just say what you wanted.
True, and I think that's a little bit of Bo Jackson, but I kind of believe the Bo Jackson one.
Bo Jackson was a freak athlete.
Yeah. Earl Campbell, I don't know about it. That might have been a little bit of an urban legend there.
A little urban. A little Keith for you.
Little Keith Urban. Later, Bob. Yeah, playing some golf. Hey, if we come to Kansas City, we should go play golf, and we should have like a best ball match. Mike and Steve versus Buck and Bob. Best ball.
I don't know. You'd probably beat us, man. Steve, I don't think we've played golf now in a year and a half?
We didn't play last year whatsoever.
No, not a single round.
But we'll get back out there.
Which honestly, I mean, I don't think I could get any worse. So you're probably better not having the bad shot so ingrained in your head, right?
Hey, shout out Peter Ortiz, though. Thanks, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
You're a freaking legend. Let's go. Let's see. Annette says, why have two backup quarterbacks? Oh, that was a question to somebody else, probably.
Yeah, it was somebody else.
Y'all having your own little conversation, I see.
Oh, I want to get this one. Suck it.
You just like the name. It's the only reason why you picked it.
Suck it says, how many draft picks would Chris Jones garner hypothetically?
Hypothetically, you'd
At this
have to
point in
get a
his
first
career,
rounder.
I'm not for sure.
You'd have to try to get a first rounder, or you don't want to get rid
You
of
would
him.
have to try to get a first rounder. Steve, do you think somebody would give up a first rounder for Chris Jones?
Yes.
Where does it draw the line, though? You wouldn't get a top 10. You wouldn't get a top. Presumably, I don't think you get a top 20.
You might be able to. Maybe. How old is he?
Chris Jones is going to be 33 or 34.
I
Right?
don't know. Maybe you don't.
Let me make sure. I'm not caught up on my Chris
He's
Jones.
probably 32, right?
Not on my. Oh, well, he's just now 30.
Oh, yeah. We
For some reason, I was thinking Chris Jones was 32.
No, see, everybody likes to make you think he's old. They get that in your head, and he's not.
Okay, so Chris Jones is 30. Oh, well, the okay, I know what it is. The debate last year was once you turn 30, you decline as a defensive tackle. Once you turn 32, your career's over. That was the debate. But he did decline a little bit last year. I will say he did decline a little. He was disruptive. Don't get me wrong, but his numbers did not mimic the year before, which is tough.
Yeah.
Would
Peter
you give
Ortiz
up
said,
a first round pick for a 30-year-old defensive tackle?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Chris Jones is a beast, bro. He's a game changer.
Yeah, I get it. I just don't know, man.
Mike Peter Ortiz says, "What's your handicap?" And he's not talking about
lots of things.
He's talking about your golf game, brother. I think last
I don't
time
really remember.
I think mine was around a 10 or 11, so you were probably about an 8, 7 or 8.
Yeah, I mean, when we used to play all the time, we
maybe even better.
We're decently solid. Mm-hmm. But again, if you haven't swung a golf club in 18 months,
dude, you can lose it real quick, can't you?
Yeah,
it's not like riding a bike. I stole a kid's bike, not a random kid, but my kid. She got a new bike for her birthday, so she's all pumped about this bike. So every time her and her friends get off of their bikes and start talking, I like to run out there and steal it and take off. And then all the neighborhood kids are yelling and chasing me through the neighborhood while I'm riding this kid's bike. But yeah, I can remember how to ride the bike. That was easy. Golf's not like that.
Yeah. Golf's harder than riding a bike. I can ride like a stationary bike at the gym.
Yeah.
Do you hear that thunder?
I hear it, dude.
Dude, it's coming down pretty hard.
Am I going to get it?
Kentucky has literally turned
into
the Ohio
Tornado
Valley
Alley.
has turned into Tornado Alley. The weather has shifted from Oklahoma straight into the Ohio Valley. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah. What's up, Steve-O?
But we got to stop with it.
Yeah, it's getting pretty crazy. It's too much. Sam Lofton says we should have traded Chris Jones before the big contract.
A lot of people were kind of wanting that a little bit.
It's tough.
Look, if you could have maybe traded Chris Jones for a first-round pick, before last year, would you have done it?
Man, I don't know. That was just really tough, right?
Because we kind of debated that when it happened, and we wasn't.
You're in that position. Remember,
Jones.
There were people that wanted to keep L'Jarius Sneed instead of Chris Jones, so that's pretty wild.
I do remember that.
And the thing about it is, Chris Jones he changes the entire complexion of your defense, right? I mean, if he's not there, all of a sudden you have no pass rush because we're talking about how we need edge rushers.
Yeah, that's true.
So we were going to go to having no pass rush, which means you're going to get picked apart. It don't matter how good your DBs are. It's the NFL. If you give them enough time, somebody's getting open. So I don't know about that. That's a tough sale right there. Try to trade Chris Jones off. Ron King says, I'd rather draft Travion Henderson than his teammate Judkins. Just his opinion. So I like Judkins a little better. I have him higher ranked, but for how Kansas City uses running backs 90% of the time, Travion Henderson would be a good fit. I just don't know if I like him better than Judkins. I think Judkins could fit too, but Henderson does a lot of good things. And he's kind of that outside zone style running back, quick, fast, all that good stuff. So, I mean, he would be a good, very useful for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think Travion Henderson's more of the guy if you want like a big home run type back. But I will say I liked Quinshon Judkins' field vision a little better. If you go back and watch his tape with Ole Miss, it looked a lot better than it did at Ohio State. And you could say, well, Ohio State's just better competition. It is not better competition than the SEC. So he did prove he could do it. And if you look across the board, Judkins ran a 4.48 40, and Henderson only ran a 4.43. So you're only looking at that. That's how much that is. And technically, Judkins is faster in the 10-yard split by 0.01. So they're pretty athletically on par together. So,
yeah,
I mean, you're kind of just getting
kind
an
of
extra
a pick
20
your poison
pounds
there, right?
Yeah, you're getting an extra 20 pounds with Judkins that can move the same. But so to me, it relied on field vision, Steven. And I was with you. I thought Judkins, I had him rated just a little bit higher.
Yeah, I think we both had him rated at 3. Henderson,
yeah, he was my number 3.
Mid, 5, 6-ish, something like that. I think it's kind of where we had him at. Iron Price pointing out that people sleeping on a Thursday night here. You guys wake up and hit that like button for us if you don't care. That'd be freaking appreciated. And if you're watching on X or Facebook, you can share it. Share that video. Hell, share it on YouTube. I don't care. Share it to everybody. Let's get the word out. Get the word out, baby. Hannah with the 5 bomb says the 49ers got an early mid first rounder for Buckner. I reckon Chris Jones is worth just as much, if not more. I would think so.
Well, when did they trade that though?
I would think so. I think Chris Jones could get a mid first round pick.
Wasn't
Somebody
the
would do
Buckner
it.
trade like all the way back like 2020 or something though?
It was a while ago.
So Buckner is 31. So that was 5 years ago. He would have been 25 years old.
Would you trade
So
Harrison
I mean,
Butker for a
25
first
years
round
old
pick?
or a 30. Who?
Would you trade Harrison Butker for a first round pick?
No, I ain't trading Butker for nothing.
Hell no. There ain't
He's got
nobody
them-
else. Nobody else
he's
has
got that
balls the
big
size of Harrison
sack.
Butker. There ain't no way.
Yeah, buddy.
He single-handedly won us the Super Bowl.
Butker kind of had a little bit of a down year this year due to the injury, though, didn't he? Something felt off with him this year in a way.
Yeah, I can see it.
But maybe the kickoff and everything just kind of messed with these guys a little bit.
He had that mid-season surgery or whatever.
Are they
on his
going-
meniscus.
Are they going back to a normal kickoff? Wasn't that just a 1 year trial? Like, are
No,
they gonna
they
keep that?
upped the game, brother. They just changed the rule. I think it came out today. Now, if you take a touchback, it's 35-yard line. They're trying to promote them running, actually taking the kickoff. That's what they're trying to do.
Well, because we predicted that last year. We said you're just going to kick it in the end zone and put it on what? What was it, the 20? Or the 25? I don't remember what it was last
It
year.
was the 30, but they moved it up to the 35.
It's the 35. And I still don't think that's that bad. That's one run play.
I think if they just
Theoretically.
moved the kick back to where it used to be and
I think
made
you
it,
just need to just move it all back to normal.
You get
We're
the-
adults. We're grown men.
Exactly. That's my thing. Like back in the day, it was, hey, I'm going to run this out because we only get the ball in the 20. Now it's like, don't kick this out of the end zone if they're going to get it on the 35-yard line. It's kind of like they went the whole opposite direction of trying to get the same result. You're chasing your tail.
And I still
It's
just don't
crazy
feel
to me.
like it's that much of an injury type play. I just
Not as much
as
as they like
far
to
as
make
I
it
can
out to
remember,
be.
I just don't feel like there was that many injuries. Like think about it, almost all of your like really crazy injuries in the NFL are half the time are just non-contact anyway.
Yeah. Suck it. It says the talks about a Karlaftis trade is interesting. So I don't think that's a good idea. And let me tell you why. I think Karlaftis is more valuable to the Chiefs than what you'd be able to garner in a trade for Karlaftis. Because he's not flashy. He's not putting up ridiculous stats. But Karlaftis is a damn workhorse. And he's always in the mix at making a play. All kinds of pressures. I just don't think you would get what you deserve for a Karlaftis in a trade. I think you get more out of it just keeping him, right? Because he's a damn good player.
Possibly, yeah.
Brian Parrott's about to find you and
Yeah, Brian Parrott would be in shambles.
smite you just for even bringing this up.
He would be in shambles if this happened. I would not be. Steve, here, I'm going to, depending on what you got for a George Karlaftis, and again, I don't know what you would get. You're not getting a first round pick for George Karlaftis.
No, hell no, you're not.
You could, if you could secure a second round pick, and I don't know if you could.
I don't think you could, honestly.
If you could secure a second, I would be open to it.
Maybe, but I don't think so though, right? Because like,
But I
first
don't
of
think
all,
you're going to get a second round.
I don't think you're going to get a second. And just either way, I think George offers you so much. Like he's such a good player with a high motor, and he's constantly working to get better. I think we still haven't seen the best of George Karlaftis.
Well, you don't really have nobody behind him.
Right, and we can't trade pass rush right now. That's wild.
Yeah, you can't really do that. So depends. Like, is Brett going to go in the draft and draft like 3 pass rushers? Then it might be bad news. It might be the writing on the wall there.
Right. Nikki says there were fewer concussions on kickoffs in 2024. It's because they're still not running the damn ball back. Like I think it's a.
Yeah, so they just want to just put the ball on the 30 and let it go.
I don't know.
I don't
man.
care if they have a concussion or not. Let's be completely honest. These are
Yeah.
grown men that get paid billions of dollars,
Yeah.
and they choose to play this game. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So
Like, if
think we
I
should go-
choose-
go back to the old kickoff. And
Look,
let's do this.
if I go to college and choose to be an archaeologist, I can't cry when I get dirt on my pants.
Right.
If I go to college to be a tax return specialist, I can't get mad that I have to use a calculator. Like, you signed up for this and you get paid an ungodly amount of money. Like, play the game by the rules And let's quit
I think
doing this.
I
It's
understand
stupid.
player safety to a certain extent, but if you're changing the rules of the game that drastically, I think you really need to look in the mirror and be like, what the hell are we doing? And like I said, they're just chasing their tail anyway because they're just trying to figure out ways to make the kickoff exciting. Well, guess what? It was exciting. It used to be. Used to have guys. We were talking about this at work today. A couple of guys were talking about this because they were like, who? They were trying to decide who the best kick returner in the league was right now. And I was like, it doesn't
Who
matter.
knows?
It doesn't matter. Of course, there's a Cowboys fan there, and he's like, Turpin's the best one. I'm like, well, here's the thing. No one cares about kick returners anymore. Back before the rules got messed with, you had Josh Cribbs. You had Dante Hall.
Yeah, you wouldn't have had these
You
guys
had,
right now because nobody cares.
Who's Devin Hester? You had all these guys that were game changers as kick returners. That's not even a thing no more. They ruined it. And now they're trying to bring it back and make the kickoff exciting, but they're just going completely backwards from what they're. It makes no sense to me. So whatever you do, that's fine. But
It feels
I'm
like
with
to
you,
me,
Mike.
like they're trying to. It's as if they're trying to. If you're like, dude, car racing, and you're like, we're gonna drag race, but you put like restrictor plates on the car so they can't go over a certain speed. It's
so
like, what's the
weird, yeah.
point? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think I'm all for player safety and trying to be safe about it. And I know there's implications from head injuries and stuff. That's real. I think that's real. But you get hazard
choose
pay
to play the game.
You're getting some damn good hazard pay.
Well, you still choose. Nobody made you play football.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think that's where I'm at with it. Even though, Mike, we're heartless, okay?
I guess so. But look, if Patrick Mahomes had, if at the end of his career, Patrick Mahomes has 47, like say he had Tua head concussions. Tua keeps coming back repeatedly.
Yeah, whose fault is
wanting-
that?
Yeah, he wants to do this over and over. So are we just eventually going to make the quarterback put on a yellow jersey and not touch him because Tua is too stubborn to give up? Like, his body can't do it. And so if Tua would have played baseball, then go for it. You wouldn't have had head injuries, but you chose to play this.
Right. Hannah with the 2 bombs says, KC fans, stop asking for Tyreek Napoleon Hill return. Is that his real name?
I would love to see Tyreek Hill come back to KC, but I just don't think it's possible.
What's Tyreek Hill's real middle name? I'm going to go look it up.
Tyreek Christopher. No, wait. It's probably like Tyreek. Is it? It's not Napoleon.
I hope it is. She's talking about him being tiny. Let's see. Oh, his middle name's Darnell. Darnell.
Darnell Hill.
Darnell Hill.
You think he would find that disrespectful if you were like, hey, Darnell?
He's disrespectful in general, so I don't care what he thinks. He's Darnell now.
Hey,
Appreciate
Darnell.
the 2. That's pretty crazy.
She said she gave him the nickname.
Hey, people are laughing at Darnell here. Well, Mike,
Darnell.
what do you want to talk about? We got a few minutes left. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat if you want us to answer anything. We appreciate y'all being here, by the way. You guys that have hit the like button and the guys that donated, you guys are the freaking real ones. We appreciate you. Thanks for the support. We're going on is this our 4th year? This is our 4th season coming up, which is wild. And we're continuing to grow. We're not growing as fast as we were, so we got to get back in the groove a little bit. All of you guys watching videos, liking stuff, sharing it with your friends and everything, that's the key, right? But yeah, it's been fun, and we're just getting started, man. The 4th season coming up.
Sheesh.
So this draft, man, well, I'm sure we'll live stream the draft. We normally live stream the draft, and it's a brutal one. It's a long, brutal live stream. But we'll do it, and it'll be fun. Mike, just real quick, is there one player, because I've made it known, like, I think if Amari Hampton's there or Luther Burden, I think you just have to take it off pure value.
You're a Hampton homer.
I'm not a Hampton homer. I'm just saying if there's a player with that much value there, you take them. That's my opinion. So is there a player that you think if they're sitting at 31 that you have to take, like just off of pure value? Is there anybody that you see in that boat?
It's a loaded question, though, because you don't know who's going to be there. Because people in the chat's going to be like, yeah, you got to take Travis Hunter. Well, obviously.
Realistically, out of these guys that they're talking about falling, like I've even seen a lot of people saying like Warren could make it to the end of the first round, the tight end.
Okay, here's my thing. If a tight end were to fall, here, let me just go through each position that we would need, and I'll tell you if they're there, I would take them. If Omarion Hampton was sitting there at 31, I would definitely consider him. If it's down to Quinshon Judkins, I wouldn't be surprised if they passed in the first, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So now let's go to wide receiver. That's a possible scenario. If Luther Burden's there, they will consider him. If Emeka Egbuka's there, I think you run to the podium if Emeka Egbuka's sitting there. At 6'1", 205 and what he could give you.
Over Burden?
In my opinion, yes. I've got Egbuka, the number 2 rated wide receiver, and I got Burden rated number 6. So
how do you have
I
him
do
at
think
2?
Burden.
Do you have
I've got
him over Tet
I've got him
McMillan?
over Tet McMillan, and that was before Tet McMillan had ran and proved his 40. So I mean, these still could move because I think actually Burden now I would almost put Burden up to number 5 and move him above Jaden Higgins. So these are still going to switch, but I do think Egbuka is the better prospect. But does he fit the Chiefs as well as Luther Burden? I don't know. So yeah, I would consider both of those guys. Tight end, like you said, the only one I'm considering at 31 would maybe be Tyler Warren. And a lot of people's going to be like, but what about Colston Loveland? I don't know. I'm not super sold on Loveland just yet.
Yeah, same.
And even Tyler Warren, I'm not super sold on.
I like him better.
Yeah. Offensive tackle, like I said, if Kelvin Banks were to fall, I think I would like that one. You know, if a Mimbu fell that far, you probably take him on sheer, like, we'll just put him at right tackle. I mean, he's just a good, like, there's just no way Mimbu should fall that far, right?
There's just a lot of talent there, right?
Yeah, and then, like, Simmons, Connerly, I prefer Simmons over Connerly. I would not draft a Gray Zabel that late. Steve, we just saw that in a mock draft we were watching last night. I like Gray Zabel as a player, but again, he's going to be a guard.
Why are we drafting a guard in the first?
Yeah, and
round?
I just don't think we need a guard. I'm just not finding that to be necessary.
I mean, if you're already getting ready to overpay a guard with Trey Smith, and once again, I should have prefaced that with I think that Trey Smith deserves what he gets, but just paying a guard that much money is tough. And then on top of that, you go use a first round pick too on guard. That's wild.
There's maybe, okay, instead of answering what I like and what I don't, or what I do like, let's say what I would be kind of upset with. If the Chiefs said at 31, there's one specific defender that people keep throwing around, and I'm not super sold on him. Like, he's solid, but he's not like the greatest thing I've ever watched. And that is the defensive end Landon Jackson out of Arkansas. People are throwing that name around a lot, and I feel like he's just another, like, George Karlaftis, not going to change the game.
Who was it? I'm sorry.
Landon Jackson from Arkansas. Like, I just don't see enough explosiveness there. He's got an injury history behind him. I would be a little upset there. I don't feel like you're getting anything it's like a Felix pick all over again, in my opinion.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. We don't need anybody else that's just going to be like a bummer.
But that's what happens when you draft to fill a position rather than take the best player on your board. Because at the end of the day, you may not need Luther Burden better, but you better believe Luther Burden is going to be a much better player in the NFL, more than likely, than a defensive end with not very many pass rush moves.
Yeah. Joe E. brings up a good question here. He says, will the drama of chain gang in football make football feel less humanized? So, yeah, they have a whole different way they're going to be spotting the ball this year just because Buffalo lost again. They cried, and they get rule changes every freaking time. I don't know. I guess we'll see how it works. It'll be interesting, I suppose. I mean, if it's foolproof and it's 100%, then I'm all for it. That's fine. But, I mean, I'm sure there'll be its drawbacks. We'll just have to wait and see. But, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it. Like, being less humanized, sure, maybe. But at the same time, like, I'm okay with something like that because, I mean, if the ball spot's right, I'm good with it. I'm okay with it. But, yeah, Mike, we got a 5-bomb from KC Chiefs Production. Says, shout out to my friend Dixon Kiter. What's up, Dixon Kiter? Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the 5-bomb. Man, that was nice of your friend to shout you out there, Dixon.
Kiter. Bring me some apple cider, please.
Man. Yeah, it'll be an exciting draft, though.
Can you just say the name? I don't think it really even matters. Like, we say way worse on this channel.
Yeah, I just wanted to ruin it for him.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ruin it for him. I'm sorry.
About time says you let
Maybe
him
I
down,
should have went
man.
along. Should have went along with the joke.
You let him down.
Well, you know, can't have everything you want in life. Yeah, it'll be. So yeah, I'm kind of interested about this now. Jeremy says the officials still spot the ball, though, is my understanding. I don't know. Is it only going to be on like really close stuff?
Do you have to like go to the officials? Like, do you have to like use a? You know what I mean? Like, do you have to like use a challenge, or
I don't
they
know.
have to call it in from New York?
Who knows, man? It's weird. It's kind of like we've talked about before how it's kind of like the electronic strike zone in baseball. Like they have the ability to have balls and strikes called to where they're always 100% right, but they still choose to have that human element with an umpire. So I mean, I don't know if that really correlates as much with a chain gang, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll just have to see how it's going to be. They're still going to have the chain gang there. I do know that. So, I mean, they're still going to be doing it just like usual. But I think when it comes down to something that's like inches, like the Buffalo and Chiefs game, I think they're going to look at it and be like, hey, guess what? Buffalo, you didn't get it. Shut up and stop crying. Like, that's what it would be for, you know?
Huh. Yeah,
So-
I don't know what they're doing. Just whatever Buffalo needs, man. They're just going to help. Are they just going to eventually just hold Josh Allen's hand and usher him to the Super Bowl at some point?
They're going to try, man. If they can't, they'll keep giving them MVPs to compensate. They'll make them feel better. Participation trophies for Mr. Allen. Well, we appreciate you guys being here tonight. Thanks so much. Like I said earlier, if you hit the like button, you're a real one. If you donated tonight, we appreciate you guys supporting the channel and letting us do the thing that we love to do, bring you some content. So appreciate all of y'all. If you didn't hit the like button, hit it on the way out. That would be much appreciated. There won't be a video tomorrow. Mike's going to be in the middle of trying to get everything out of his house and relocating for the week what do you?
We're just dodging a.
Yeah, trying to dodge a bullet here. Maybe it won't flood all the way, but if it does, you want to make sure you got your stuff out of there, right? So there won't be a video tomorrow. So hang in there, and we'll have one out on Monday. So be on the lookout for that. But we hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Right, Mike?
Oh, sorry.
Don't
I didn't know you were. I was reading comments. Yeah, man. Have a good one.
Mike don't love you all like I love
Do you hear the rain coming down? I'm just sitting here thinking, like, maybe it'll stop raining and I won't get flooded. Do you hear
Yeah,
it?
you got a
Here,
lot
let
on
me
your
put the
mind.
mic next to my window.
Mike, we can hear it. Ooh, ASMR, baby. Hey, are you guys okay? If you're okay with it, I'm going to stay here and sleep for the night. Getting a little tired.
Let's start an ASMR channel.
ASMR Chiefs channel.
Dude, I know you can hear that. Steve, I'm going to end up living on a boat. I should just buy a boat. I'm going to go get a
Maybe
yacht.
get a yacht. Live on
Hey,
a
you
yacht.
got to start a GoFundMe. Buy me a yacht. It don't have to be a nice one. Just anything I can float on. A raft, maybe. I'll take that too.
Yeah, whatever. Well, we'll see you guys. Go Chiefs.